Donating my kidney was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Like, for real. It was hard. It was harder than I expected it to be. So, 10 out of 10. Would I recommend? Keep watching and you will find out.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Hello, it's your girl Portia from Dope Queens Cosmetics, and today we are going to talk about if I would recommend donating your kidney, if I would donate again, and the things that I wish I knew before donating. So, as many of you know, November 15th, I donated my kidney to save my husband's life. We were not a match, so entered the paired kidney exchange, which meant that I donated my kidney to someone that I was a match for in exchange for him receiving a kidney from somebody that he was a match for. Initially, we thought that we were going to be on the waiting list for a long time due to my husband's blood type. The typical wait for a kidney is about, I believe it's about 3 to 5 years. For my husband's blood type, it is 5 to 7 years. I also have a more rare blood type, which requires people with my blood type to also be on the wait list for about 5 to 7 years. So my blood type was in demand. My husband is the universal donor, so it's hard for him to receive an organ. So we thought that we were going to be waiting for a long time. I went through the whole process of getting approved, which I wouldn't say was difficult. I would just say that it took some time. And in our situation, I had to learn to be patient because 2019, I would say 2018 and 2019 was a very rough year for my husband and I. He spent the majority of the year in and out of the hospital. I started to feel like we lived in the hospital. We were literally admitted to the hospital at least twice a month. At least twice a month for a very long time. So it was a very stressful time for us. It was very scary. His kidney function declined rapidly. He went from stage 3 in 2018 to end-stage renal failure, stage 5, in 2019. So his kidney function just declined so fast. Everything went downhill really fast, and we spent 2019 like literally he spent it like fighting for his life. It seemed like when we entered 2019, I entered it with the intention of saving his life. When he was initially diagnosed with kidney disease, it didn't hit me right away. Like, I didn't think about donating my kidney to him or for him right away. It was something that just came to me. Like, it literally came to me one day, and I was like, I'm going to save my husband's life. I'm going to be the one to donate a kidney to him. And when I found out that I could not donate my kidney directly to him, I was like, somebody's going to get this kidney, okay? Because he's going to make it. My husband's going to live, and we're going to go back to our normal lives. So I was like, I don't know who's going to get this kidney so my husband can get a kidney, but somebody is getting this kidney, and they getting it real soon. And I had to just kind of stick with that mindset. And to be honest, there was a time that I didn't think it was going to happen anytime soon. And when I thought it wasn't going to happen, I had to kind of be okay with that thought, you know? You can't get too anxious or upset when you're going through health crisis, or you can. You actually absolutely can. But you have to feel those feelings and then you have to let them go, and you have to continue to push forward because life continues to go on. So you can't stay stuck in a state of fear and distress and hopelessness because it doesn't serve you. I'll talk about that more later. But for right now, I want to talk about my donation journey. So I have some notes with me. If you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes of the things that I wish I knew before I donated. And number one is the saying that it's harder on the donor than it is the recipient is absolutely 100% true. I mean, it's like 1,000% true. It is so much harder on the donor than it is the recipient. And I had heard that saying going in. When I asked the transplant center about it, they just explained that the reason why people say that is because the donor, they receive an organ that they need, while the recipient, you're giving up, or the donor is giving up an organ that they don't need to give up, while the recipient is receiving an organ that they need. So when the recipient receives the organ that they need, it seems like they are recovering better and faster. And in all actuality, they actually are recovering faster than the donor. They're getting everything that they were not getting before. Their body is releasing those toxins. You will literally see physical changes if the recipient's kidney starts working immediately. You will immediately see physical changes in that person. It is absolutely amazing. The first day, straight out of surgery, my husband was awake, he was talking, he was hungry, he was ready to eat. That night, I stayed with him at the hospital. I actually stayed with him every night at the hospital after his transplant. But we initially thought that he was going to be tired because, surgery, anesthesia, you think you're going to be out of it. So at first we were thinking I was going to stay in a hotel very close to the hospital in case he needed me. But he was so alert and so wide awake that I was like, no, we're going to stay. We're going to hang out. Like, we watched movies. We had such a great time. Literally the day of his surgery, like after him waking up from surgery. For me, it was completely different. So my husband's surgery was a week before mine. Normally when you do a paired kidney exchange, both the donor and the recipient have surgery on the same day. Due to OR scheduling, that couldn't happen for us. So my husband's surgery was first, and then mine was a week later. My husband, the day of his surgery, like I said, he was awake after the surgery. He was alert. He was ready to eat. We were watching movies. We were joking around. Like, great time. Girl, when I woke up from my surgery, I thought somebody had tried to murder me. I knew immediately from waking up from surgery that I was missing something important. I was in pain. I was in a lot of pain. And I'm not saying this to scare anybody away. I just want you all to know exactly what could happen if you choose to donate. I want you guys to be informed when you're making your decision. So when I woke up, I was in a lot of pain. You have a nurse by your side when you're in the recovery. So when the nurse came to me, I'm dying. What is going on? When you first wake up from anesthesia, you don't really know what's going on. You don't remember what happened. All I knew was that I was missing something important and I felt a lot of pain. So she explained to me, you just donated a kidney. I'm gonna get you some pain medicine, like calm down, you'll be okay. before surgery, I told my husband, I'm like, when I wake up from surgery, I want my family to be surrounding me. I do not want to be surrounded by strange nurses and people that I don't know. I know that if I'm surrounded by my family and friends, whoever was at the hospital, that, excuse me, if I get a little emotional, just excuse me. I was like, I know that I will be okay. So, as soon as I woke up and the nurse let my family come in, people started visiting me one by one. The anesthesia had me so nauseous, I felt like I had morning sickness, so I could not stand the smell of anybody. Like, I could barely stand the smell of the hospital, so I couldn't stand the smell of anybody, and the thought of throwing up made me want to die. Because you have to remember that I just had surgery in my abdomen. So I had 3 small incisions where the like little telescope or whatever goes through so the doctor can see where the kidney was. My stomach was blown up with gas, so I'm super bloated. And on top of that, I have 1 larger incision above my bikini line, which is similar to the C-section incision. It's about 5 inches long, right above the bikini line. So you don't want to use those muscles to cough, throw up, or anything. Like, I wanted to avoid using any of my abdominal muscles. So when my family came in to visit me and I thought I was going to throw up, I had to send everybody away. Everybody had to go. I could not take any more visitors. The nurse had everybody leave. Nobody could visit me until I was up in my official room on the transplant floor. And so the whole time that I was in recovery, I was just like, I was upset because, of course, I wanted to see my family, but I couldn't stand seeing my family because I was so sick. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I did not expect this. Like, am I going to be okay? Like, what is going on? Am I ever going to feel normal again? So they took me up to my floor, and that whole day was just, it was totally different from my husband's surgery. I cried and cried. I cried for hours until the doctors decided to increase my pain medicine. And I want to talk about one thing very quickly so I can put things into perspective. And I don't want you guys to think that this experience was a total nightmare. One thing that I did kind of know going in is, I don't know why, for the life of me, I've never been able to figure out why, but I have a very high pain tolerance. I mean, I have a low pain tolerance, but I have a high tolerance for pain medication, and I don't know why, because I do not like to take like, I don't even like to take Tylenol or Motrin or anything. I definitely do not like taking stronger drugs, so I don't. But for some reason, anytime when I had my daughter, any type of like traumatic event that I've had where I needed stronger pain medicine, for some reason, I always need like the strongest of the strongest drugs to work. But I am about 5'4", 130 pounds. I'm very petite. So when people see me, when doctors see me, they are scared to to give me the kind of pain medicine that I seem to require. So I oftentimes, or not often, thank God, I've not been in very many situations where I've really needed like any strong pain medication, but the times that I have been, I suffer for a long time before somebody actually listens to me. And that's literally what happened at the hospital. Like, I suffered for a while and cried for hours until they believed, like, hey, this is a little bit of medicine that we're giving this girl because we think she can't handle anything stronger is not working. And thank God they got the point that it was not working. They readjusted my medication, and I'm not going to say that I was fine after that. I will say that the pain was tolerable enough to where I could go to sleep for a few hours and feel a little bit of relief while I was sleeping. I wasn't so miserable that I could not shut my eyes. I spent most of the first day like so miserable that I couldn't sleep. I did not eat for 5 days. I was in so much pain. Like, I spent a lot of the few days just like being miserable, but after I got the correct medication that I needed, it was not so bad. So, number one is, yes, it is going to be harder on you as a donor than it is a recipient. Do not compare your recovery to the recipient's recovery, because it's going to be totally different. Number two was be comfortable with receiving help and leaning into your community, your family, and your friends. When you have surgery, if you're blessed enough to have people that really love and care for you, they're going to want to help you, and you will need to receive that help. All of that help. In fact, if people start offering things before your surgery, receive it. Don't deny it, receive it. Because the first 2 weeks of your recovery are going to be so hard. My husband, he had to do everything for you. Mind you, like I said, my husband had his surgery November 5th. Mine was November 15th. So a week before. And he had to do everything. Like, my husband and my grandmother really came through. My job was so supportive. They helped me with my sick leave. I was donated sick leave. They actually created a whole organ donor policy for me. They like thought ahead about how we were going to be able to make meals and stuff for ourselves, and they like sent a gift card so that we could have meals that were already pre-made, just pop them in the oven. My sister, she did all of my grocery shopping when I could not clean my house. Like, she literally came over my house and, ooh, this is why this video was hard to do. She literally came over and like helped us clean, and my daughter, she was there. My daughter is 16 years old, and she was there every step of the way helping us with everything. And I would just say that if you're the kind of person where receiving help is hard for you, you're gonna have to get over that very quickly, because you are going to be in a situation where you're helpless and it's hard. And I think that is where people may get kind of depressed. If you're used to doing a lot and you're used to being independent, then it can be hard relying on people. But I really took that time to, one, just actually relish in the help that we were receiving, and two, I took that time to just count like my blessings and how grateful I was to have so many people surround us that like really cared. Our people helped us, like they helped us with our everyday needs. People like really chipped in to just make sure that we would be okay during the time that we were off of work. My husband's family, his mom and sister literally came over the day after my surgery or that weekend, and they cooked enough food for us to not have to worry about food for like a whole 2 weeks almost. They cooked all of my favorite meals, all of my husband's favorite meals. Like, we just had so much help and so much support that it was unbelievable. And you just have to lean into that help, lean into that support, and know that you will get through your recovery. You will get through it in one piece, and life will go on. Life will go back to normal, girl. So, moving on. Number 3, you are going to be in a lot of pain. A lot. If you didn't get it before that you was going to be in a lot of pain, please get it now that you will be in a lot of pain, and it will take a while to recover. I think that I was very hard on myself and I was not realistic about the amount of pain that I was going to be in. I thought, because they tell you like, oh, in 2 weeks people go back to work, they're fine, like you'll be able to exercise and do all these things after 2 weeks. So I really believed that that's what was gonna happen, and everybody's body is completely different. Unfortunately, it took mine a lot longer to heal. 2 weeks I was still in bed, like barely able to move, when my coordinator was telling me that I needed to be mobile, walk around, do stuff. I'm like, girl, I can barely get out this bed. Like, I can barely sit up from out of bed without help. Like, to think about standing up and walking around like continuously, what are you talking about? Like, it was hard. It was hard, but I did get through it, and yes, it hurt. It hurt a lot. And your pain medication, after you leave the hospital, they're gonna give you about a week's worth of like heavy duty drugs. After that, you are on Tylenol. So just for some type of perspective, it is now January 10th, I believe. 2 weeks ago, like the end of December, was when I stopped having to consistently take Tylenol. So my pain lasted a little bit longer than a lot of people's, but I was in a significant amount of pain for a while.